Don't be scared. Don't be scared to leave your religion. Don't be scared to leave Jesus. Don't be scared to leave Christianity. You know, I was listening to a podcast the other day. It was on the DZ podcast, and Deconstructing Justin does a great job. He had a gentleman come on and said that he has questions about Christianity, but he's afraid to leave Christianity because of the turmoil or the punishment that he may receive from this God. He said exactly that he's afraid to leave because God may punish him after he leaves. Now, Justin went on and have a different conversation than I would have had with him at that time frame, but it intrigued me because I know that there are many people who are afraid to leave Christianity, although they have many doubts. You may have doubts right now, but you're afraid. You're afraid of the family that you may lose. You're afraid of the friends that you might lose. You're afraid of the public backlash that may happen to you if you were to leave Christianity. But here's the thing. Basic question, and please be honest. Please be honest. So over this entire time frame that you have participated in Christianity, believed in Christianity, you were faithful in Christianity, you prayed, you tried to walk the Jesus lifestyle as much as you possibly can. You showed up at church, you gave your tithes, you fed the homeless, you took care of widows and orphans. You did as much that would be in line with today's versions of Christianity as you possibly can, based on whatever denomination you belong to. But in that time frame, did you lose your spouse? Were there accidents, car accidents, workplace accidents? Did your children get in trouble? Did you lose your job? Was money ever so short for such a long time frame that it seemed like you was being punished, like something was bad? Did your health go down? Did you have like these bad days and they seemed to be so consecutive and consistent? Was there constantly a time frame where things were constantly seeming to be going downhill? And you went and you prayed even more and you gave even more and you gave more of your time and your energy and, you was on bended knee. Did that ever happen to you while you were believing in Jesus? While you was praising Jesus? While you were praying? While you was doing as much as you can to be Christian? Your answer most likely is yes. If it's no, you're lying. But your answer is yes. Everybody has those things that happens to them. So if you were to leave Christianity, do you think that there will ever be a time that you may have an accident? You may lose your car. You may get robbed. You may lose your job. You may lose your spouse. You may lose your kids to peer pressures and all sorts of things, that you could have a streak of all kinds of negative things happening in your life. Yeah, it's called life. You see, whether you believe in this God or you don't believe in this God, you have been through your ups and you have been through your downs. You've crawled your way out of the holes and you've fallen into the holes. You've made mistakes. You've lied. You've lost jobs. You've had accidents. You've had turmoil in your life, whether you believe in Jesus or not. There are those who believe in Muhammad and Allah. They've had their ups and they've had their downs. There are those who believe in Brahma. They have their ups and they've had their downs. No matter what religion you believe in, you've had your ups and you've had your downs. So is it more likely that you are having ups and downs based on the decisions that you make, or someone else made a decision and that decision impacted you? Somebody decided that they were going to drive drunk and it impacted you. Somebody decided that they was going to have an affair and it impacted you. Someone decided they was going to close the company down or do a furlough and it impacted you. You see, other people can make decisions that impact you that seems to be you getting the short end of the deal, but it's not your God doing anything. It's the law of cause and effect. For every cause, there's an effect, and for every effect, there is a cause. But what we cannot do is put things that we do not know the causations and say that it's God. Because if God would punish you while you're believing, then God will punish you while you're not believing. You would have to make that same assertion. Now, many will say that, well, if I still keep God, at least I get into heaven. At least my punishment or my survival of such becomes a testimony. But it's an unproven testimony. Because every time someone says that, well, I was sick and then, God healed me. And if you dip barrel down into it, did you go to the hospital? Did you take medications? God didn't heal you. Medication did. I lost my job and God gave me another one. Did you put in a resume? Did you go to an interview? God didn't do it. You put forth that effort to make that a reality. Oh, me and my spouse, our relationship almost ended. It was about over. But God came into the midst of our prayers and we were able to save this marriage. Did you go to counseling? Did you decide for yourself that you were going to be a better husband or a better wife? Did you decide for yourself that you was going to learn how to communicate with your husband and wife? Did you decide that instead of working on the symptoms of the issue, that you was actually going to work on the root of the issue and do some self-introspecting to figure out what the root problem is? Did you do that? Because if you did, God had nothing to do with it. It was all you, and it's all just life. So if you're on that balancing beam and you're trying to decide whether or not you want to stay in Christianity or not, if the only thing that's holding you back is your fear of God's retribution, I can tell you this with all certainty because I've been through it. I had my ups and downs while I was a Christian. I've had my ups and downs ever since I stopped being a Christian. Ups and downs come and they go, and they will continue to do so as long as someone else's ability to have determinations in my life, I can have a down. But as long as things are within my control, as long as I make good decisions and have discipline and follow through, I'm going to have more ups than downs. But when I don't make good decisions, when I don't follow through, that's when the downs happen. When you ignore a problem, that's when the downs happen. And that'll happen whether you believe or not believe. And that's one of the major things that I learned over the years. And when I applied that to Christianity, I saw no space for God. I saw no place where God was active, where his hand was on me or off me. It was all just me. When I was a Christian and I had $27 in my account, it wasn't God that opened the doors and said, go to school and you're going to get student loans and grants and your GI Bill is going to kick in and all these, and you'll be able to pass these tests and get in your certifications and start working within 3 months. There was no God in that. Back then, if you had asked me, I would have said it was God in it. But now that I've walked away from Christianity, I understand how life actually works. It was a suggestion by someone else at my low who said, hey, I'll hold it down. You go to school. You've always wanted to go back to school. Go to school. Now, I could have went and said, let me get a bachelor's degree in business or psychology, or it would have been psychology or aerodynamics, but aerodynamic or engineering. But instead, I set myself and said, what can I do to make the most money in the shortest amount of time by going to school to be able to make sure that my family is taken care of? And I went to a school. I found a school that had openings for IT. I went to that school. I told the lady at the financial aid office what my situation was. She pulled some strings so that I had money in my bank account by that next week. And then I worked my ass off studying and memorizing every test and question and answer, 300 of them for 170 answer question test to make sure I got my certifications. And then I hunted for a job like my life depended on it, because it did. And I started working. And then I grew in IT from that. Was it God? No. Because later in life, when I wasn't a Christian, I had a similar situation and I knuckled down and got shit done to open up my gourmet popcorn shop and open up my cigar lounge. And God ain't had shit to do with it. So what do you guys think? Stop being afraid to leave. And always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration.